1986 saw the conclusion of the bitter Hormel meatpacking strike in Minnesota after workers found themselves caught among the conflicting demands of another local union, their national union, and management. That seemed like an unusual scenario. But in 1987, CBS's Harry Smith reports it's being enacted all over again, this time in a different industry.
Pray that thou would bless our home and bless our family.
When Harold Callies and his family say grace, they give thanks for the blessings in their lives. But the Callies and hundreds of other families whose breadwinners work for Firestone in Oklahoma City are also praying they'll have jobs in 1987. Firestone gave its 1,200 union employees here an ultimatum. Take a hefty $3.50 an hour wage cut or see the plant close in 6 months.
They know that we're going to need a job and that we're going to be more willing to accept concessions because we know there's no other jobs out there.
Not in Oklahoma, where the oil bust has sent unemployment soaring. The workers voted to accept the cut, but the national union vetoed the deal, claiming Firestone only wants to send American jobs overseas. But without wage concessions, Firestone officials say they can't compete, and the plant will close.
It's not an easy thing to do to say to somebody that we're going to close a plant. But at the same time, we, speaking as a corporation, we can't jeopardize the jobs of the other people in the company.
It's clearly an attempt on the part of the Firestone Company to put more money in their pockets at the expense of the people on the production line.
Firestone started restructuring in 1979. Since then, the company has shut down 10 plants, putting thousands of people out of work. All the Oklahoma City Firestone workers want is a job. And while they hope the union or the company changes its decision, either way, it will be a no-win new year. Harry Smith, CBS News, Oklahoma City.
President Reagan's new federal budget will include a request for a new type of student loan program and seek $600 million from other parts of the Education Department budget to pay for it. The new program would allow students to borrow up to $50,000. How quickly they pay the money back would be based on their income. The first of many changes for the American taxpayer in 1987 has already arrived, a new W-4 form which all wage earners have to fill out as part of tax simplification. CBS's Karen Burrows has the latest in our series, Taxes, Countdown to Change.
The Tax Reform Act of 1986 is finally making its way to the taxpayers this week as employers begin to hand out the new tax withholding certificate. Form W-4 is the government's way of making taxation simple.
The government could use a translator. I know what they're trying to do is simplify it, but it seems like every year it gets more and more complex.
The new form and attached worksheet comes with a page of instructions designed to accurately predict your taxes and set your paycheck deductions to cover the bill. 4 pages of help from the government.
It looks very complex. I would probably have to get help from someone to do it.
And it's basically the baptism by fire, so to speak, for anybody with regards to the new tax law.
The IRS claims that because of the new tax law, nearly half the taxpayers, 50 million people, will end up with changes in their paycheck deductions after filling out Form W-4. People most likely to have the most changes are those working 2 jobs, couples with both spouses working, people with consumer loans, those with large interest and dividend income, and those who itemize their deductions.
Complexity may not be as much in the eye of the Internal Revenue Service as it may be in the public.
Taxpayers have until October 1st to make their withholding changes, but are urged by the IRS to act quickly and avoid penalties for underestimating their tax bill.
I'm always very confused by tax forms, and I always have to sit and read them several times before I understand anything.
It's more intimidating, it's more comprehensive, it's more thorough, but it's in many respects good because it forces you to do some forecasting.
The government is ready for a few mistakes. 300 million new withholding forms have been printed, nearly 2 for every wage earner. Karen Boris, CBS News, Chicago.
It's a fitting phrase for this time of year. It applies to all those holiday meals. It applies to all those football games between now and Super Bowl Sunday. And as CBS's Gary Reeves reports, it even applies to a football player who is too much of a good thing.
New Year's Day, the day millions of Americans make a resolution to lose weight. But now, William the Refrigerator Perry, the biggest man in pro football, who got famous because he is fat, must either lose weight or lose his job playing for the Chicago Bears.
How much do you weigh right now, Wayne? Do you know?
Like I told you, from 300 to 350.
So it could be 349.
Could be 308.
If he doesn't take it off, he'd be in jeopardy of not being here, period.
Perry was recently voted the top sports hero by America's teens, but now his legendary flab has touched off a new flap.
The refrigerator's too fat. He needs all the weight he can right there on the line so they can't move him.
Last year, when Perry was scoring touchdowns, no one complained about his being fat. Instead, America loved it.
Refrigerator, rah, rah, rah!
He inspired his own brand of cheerleaders and made tons of money doing commercials that poked fun at his weight.
Lots of room for a snack.
But this season took a lot of the fun out of being fat for Perry. This fumble may have cost the Fridge his job as a goal line running back, and when the season ended with Perry too slow to catch quarterbacks, his weight wasn't so funny anymore.
I'm not worried about how he's playing right now. I want him to be alive when he's 29 years old.
Perry has lost about $38,000 in bonuses because he's about 30 pounds too heavy. But losing out on $1,200 per pound doesn't have him worried.
Are you trying to lose weight? So, man, I'm just trying to stay the same.
Losing the pounds will be tough for Perry, maybe even impossible. But if the refrigerator can't slim down, he may be thrown out, just like a used appliance. Gary Reeves, CBS News, Chicago.
It is journalism we offer you here on Talking News Official, not much in the way of deep thinking. But CBS's Charles Osgood closes this retrospective on the first evening of the new year with the report of a study by University of California biochemists. You may find it worth thinking deeply about.
200,000 years ago on the African continent, the biochemists are saying, there lived a certain woman who belonged to an early tribe of Homo sapiens. It was her children who survived, her descendants who migrated 70,000 years later to the four corners of the earth to become Aborigines, Asians, and Caucasians.
If that is true, it gives us some things to think about as we begin the year 1987 AD.
For one thing, it means that all war is fratricide. It means that all the people in various parts of the world, from Central America to Afghanistan, from South Africa to the Middle East, who are hating and killing each other for whatever reasons, are hating and killing their own blood relatives. It means that those of us who are comfortable and well off in this world, the well-fed and well-housed, cannot say that the homeless and starving are no concern of ours. We are all connected by a thread of DNA. Written on every cell in the body of every rich and every poor person on earth is the genetic signature of one primitive woman, the mother of us all. It means that Bach and Bismarck, Caesar and Confucius, Martin Luther and Martin Luther King were all related to each other and to us. Every noble thought and inspired work of art is part of us. We are kin to every genius who ever was, and to every fool. The biochemical study uses a part of the cell inherited only from the mother, so these current tests tell us nothing about paternity, only about the maternal lineage. Nothing about Adam, some would say, only about Eve. All the world's great religions have tried to tell us through the centuries that we humans are brothers and sisters, but we wouldn't listen. Now come these biochemists to say it is more than a figure of speech. Charles Osgood, CBS News, New York.
And that is your news retrospective for Thursday, January 1st, 1987. This is Talking Ginger. We'll see you next time. Good night.